When you redirect just $500 a month into a single boring investment account, you aren't saving. You aren't being responsible. You are flipping a switch that 4 out of 5 Americans will never touch. This simple action sets off a chain reaction that most people will never experience in their entire lifetime. Imagine planting a single seed in an empty field, hoping for something great to grow from nothing. For 2 whole years, absolutely nothing happens on the surface. The ground remains completely bare and silent. I feel like I just wasted my hard-earned money on nothing but dirt and empty promises. Then, in year 3, a small tree finally breaks the surface, reaching up toward the warm sunlight. And here is the secret that nobody tells you. That young tree begins to drop its own seeds. Those new seeds quickly become trees, and those new trees begin to drop even more seeds naturally. By year 25, you don't just have a single tree anymore. You have a massive, thriving orchard. This isn't just a metaphor. This is exactly what $500 a month becomes over time. Today, we are walking through this 25-5-year timeline step by step, year by boring year. So you can see exactly when the switch flips and when the orchard finally takes over completely. And we will discover why most people choose to quit just 3 years before the magic happens. Meet David. He is 30 years old, and he is ready to start his investment journey today. Let's start the clock and watch how his decision transforms his financial future over the years. David redirects $500 a month into a basic, low-cost S&P 500 index fund. He doesn't need to earn more money to do this. He simply reroutes his existing income. First, he cancels one unused streaming service subscription that was draining his bank account monthly. Next, he replaces one weekly takeout meal with a simple, healthy dinner made at home. Finally, he switches to a cheaper, more basic phone plan. That is all it takes. He is not sacrificing his lifestyle or happiness. He is simply redirecting his money wisely. The clock officially starts the very moment that first $500 hits his investment account. In year 1, David successfully contributes a total of $6,000 of his own money. In return, the stock market hands him back a modest $221. That is it. Just $221 after a whole year of waiting. This amount is less than half of just one of his single monthly contributions. I check my account, but I feel absolutely nothing. There is no excitement here. There are no celebratory fireworks. No dramatic transformation, just a boring number on a screen. I am starting to seriously wonder if I made a huge mistake with my money. In year 2, David has contributed $12,000, and his balance is $12,891. He has earned less than 2 months of his own contributions in interest over an entire year. At this stage, the orchard is still just dry dirt. Nothing visible is happening.
The trees haven't even started growing any roots that he can actually see or feel.
But this is exactly where most people end up meeting their real financial enemy.
And it isn't bad luck. And it isn't sudden stock market crashes either.
It is something far more subtle that most Americans never even manage to identify. The twin forces of inflation and lifestyle creep working silently against your progress.
These two forces work together constantly, like a tight, one-way valve on your cash.
Every single raise you get gets absorbed into a slightly bigger, more expensive apartment. Or a slightly nicer car. Or a slightly fancier weekly grocery cart.
And the money that doesn't get absorbed gets eaten by inflation at 3% annually.
This is the exact reason why most people stay exactly where they are financially.
The orchard isn't impossible to grow. People just never let the seeds sit long enough. I am on the right track, but I just can't tell yet from looking at my balance.
Now we move directly into the zone where most investors eventually give up. By year 5, David has put in $30,000 of his own money. The market has handed him back about $5,800 total. That is 5 years of patience for less than 10 months of average rent.
I start asking myself the one question that kills more wealth than any crash.
Is this even working at all? Should I just spend this money instead?
Look at this one from the beach.
Oh wow, I completely forgot about that sunset.
We have to go back there soon.
They are posting everything on social media, showing off their exciting lifestyles.
And I am just sitting here watching a slow, boring spreadsheet do nothing. It hasn't done anything dramatic or exciting since the very day I opened it.
In the fasting analogy, this is exactly like hour 8 of a fast. Your blood sugar drops, you start to feel shaky, and you think you're starving. But you aren't actually starving. You are just addicted to the easy fuel. I am not failing, but I am just addicted to seeing fast results. The orchard doesn't care about my personal timeline. It works on its own. In year 6, however, something very subtle begins to shift in the background. David has contributed $36,000, and his balance is $55,189.
For the first time, his market gains in a single year are significant.
These gains are larger than what he earned in his entire first year combined.
Something is moving underground, even though he still cannot see it clearly.
And this is exactly where roughly 60% of new investors stop.
They sell their shares, take the small gain, and walk away forever. In year 7, the invisible wall finally breaks open for David.
David has contributed $42,000, and his balance hits $53,000.
For the first time, his annual market gains match his entire contribution. I didn't earn this money, and I didn't work for it at all. The orchard simply gave it to me as a natural reward for waiting. Just as the body unlocks fat cells, the math unlocks compound acceleration. Once your principal crosses a certain threshold, the growth becomes significant. 7% of a small number is small, but 7% of a big number is huge. The bigger the pile gets, the more work it does on its own. This is the mechanical truth that nobody explains because it isn't flashy.
By year 10, David has contributed $60,000, and his balance is $86,000.
The market handed him over $6,000 in that single year alone. For the first time, I am no longer the primary engine of my wealth. The orchard is now doing the heavy lifting for me automatically.
David is now 40 years old, and his money is growing steadily.
The market has given him another $26,000 for free.
Between years 10 and 15, the entire feeling of investing changes completely.
For the first decade, my emotional energy was a wild roller coaster.
Excitement when the market climbed, and absolute panic when it dropped suddenly.
Doubt during the quiet stretches, and frustration during the slow years. Now, my emotions have completely flatlined. Checking my account is boring. The numbers just keep going up slowly, and then less slowly over time.
Boredom is actually the cleanest, most effective fuel in the investing world.
When the math stops being a roller coaster, you stop wanting to interfere.
In fasting, your brain switches from glucose to ketones around hour 16.
Ketones burn much cleaner, providing more energy with far less waste.
In investing, around year 12, your portfolio switches to compound-driven growth.
You stop feeling the friction of earning. The money just makes money. The compounding machinery is now running completely on autopilot for David.
In year 12, David officially crosses 6 figures for the first time. He contributed $72,000, and the market gave him $40,000. By year 15, David has contributed $90,000 of his money, His annual market gains that year alone reached nearly $11,000. The market gave him almost twice what he put in himself. The orchard is officially producing more fruit than I am planting.
But the real, most dramatic shift hasn't even happened yet.
The single most important moment in his journey is still ahead.
This is the crossover point, where everything changes forever. In year 17, David has contributed $102,000. His annual growth that year reaches $13,393. For the first time, my money out-earns me by more than 2 to 1. Without permission, without effort, and without me doing anything different. He is now 47, and his wealth is growing automatically.
In fasting, this is when your body becomes a recycler.
The cleaning crew finally comes to work, clearing out waste.
Damaged cells get rebuilt into stronger, healthier ones automatically. In investing, this is the year your money becomes a producer.
I am now just a spectator. The orchard is planting itself.
And here is what makes this specific moment completely permanent. From this point forward, his gains will always exceed contributions.
Even if he stopped today, the math has reached escape velocity. The orchard can now plant faster than David ever could. This is the exact moment passive income becomes truly permanent. You've been told getting rich is about earning more money. It isn't. Getting rich is about reaching the crossover point. Most people will earn millions of dollars and never reach it. David reached it at age 47 with $500 a month.
And now, things are about to get really strange for him. Now the skeptics will say, but what about a crash? What if another 2008 market crash happens again?
Won't I lose absolutely everything I worked so hard for?
This objection is common, but it is mathematically backwards.
In fasting, your body releases growth hormone, spiking significantly.
It is a muscle-sparing hormone that protects your body. It tells your body, burn fat, but protect the muscle. Dollar cost averaging through a crash is the investing equivalent. When the market drops, his $500 buys more.
I am loading up on cheap shares while others panic. Someone investing through the crash came out way ahead. Beide Bing Fullport Reborkamfansen. Crashes are not the enemy of the long-term investor.
They are actually the muscle-sparing hormone of the market. They strip weak hands out, leaving my portfolio intact.
By year 20, David has contributed 120,000. His annual growth that year reaches 18,300.
He is earning 3 times his contribution in compound growth.
By year 22, his account crosses 315,000.
I haven't worked any harder. I just kept running.
David is now 55 years old, standing proud. Across 25 years, he has contributed 150,000. That is about $6,000 per year on average. I am loading up on cheap shares while others panic.
The orchard did the work. I just let it grow.